Evening and welcome to the Health and Social Care Live Q&A. I'm Alex, I'm one of the marketing team here at the SMB Group, and I'm joined by quite a few of my colleagues tonight. I've got Billy, Jenny and Carol who are going to talk to you about the course. So please send in any questions that you have and we'll get them answered for you. I'm going to hand over to Billy to begin with, and he's going to give us a bit of an overview of the Level 2 Health and Social Care course. So over to you, Billy.
Thank you, Alex. Hi, so I'm Billy. I'm the course lead for Level 2 at the Melton campus, and I'm just going to go over sort of what the Level 2 course entails and what you could expect from your time during the course. So most importantly, just to make you aware, the Level 2 course gives you an insight into the world of health and social care. It is for a year, so the course is for a year. It allows you to see what career paths you want to go down, what avenues you want to do after your course, whether that's Level 3 or gaining a job within the sector. And there's a range of experiences you'll come across along the way. So with the course, we have 7 units across the academic year, which you're going to complete. So that starts with equality and diversity within health and social care. You look at safeguarding units. We cover optional units such as nutrition. And whilst you're learning through the academic year on these subjects that are relevant to working in any sector within health and social care, there's also an element of work experience. So this is across Level 2 and 3, which one of my colleagues will make you aware about. And what it is one day a week you'll have a placement in a field within health and social care. So we've had a lot of students who join the course to get a placement either in a hospital setting, in a care home, in a primary school. And what the main reason for this is to ensure that whilst you're learning theory during your time at college with the tutors, you're also implementing that in the workplace as well. So at the start of the year, we'll make you aware, right, these are the amount of hours you have to do throughout the academic year. And one of the other things that it's important I mention is what is a career path students tend to go across. So this is my 3rd year teaching the course, and I've had a lot of students who've started out on the Level 2 based on the fact that they wanted to work with a range of different people and they find health and social care interesting. Fast forward 3 years down the line, they've completed the Level 2 course at Melton, they've done the Level 3, and now they're applying for places at university, which is also always a success story. So they're quite happy saying, oh, we didn't know we were going to come this far 3 years into a course, and they know what they want to do. So I've got a few students, one's going on to do nursing at university, hopefully in September. I've got a few that want to get into teaching, which is a good thing, because they say the education they've got from the tutors, they want to hopefully do the same. And yeah, that's just an overview of the Level 2 course in about 5 minutes.
Thank you. Now I'll pass you on to Jenny, and she's going to give us an overview of the Level 3. Thank you, Jenny.
Hi there, thanks Alex. My name's Jenny Monk. I'm currently supporting the Level 3 Year 1 and the Level 3 Year 2 at Melton, which I've been there, I think, coming up to 5 years soon. So with the Level 3 Year 1, there is 9 units, which are all mandatory units. So we have E&D, safeguarding, human growth and development, working in health and social care, reflective practice, communication, psychology and sociology. So there's a broad range of units. And the beauty of moving up to Level 3 from Level 2 is more work experience. So for the Year 1 Level 3, we do 75 hours work placement. You know, we do advise you to look into different fields, but we also have some really strong relationships with some settings, what we can also support sometimes. And with the Level 3, which is different to the Level 2, we use a range of assessment methods. So it's not just assignments, there is a synoptic assessment, which is a 20-hour, we call it an exam, but basically it's writing an assignment under exam conditions. So you get lots of support in readiness for that. And that's the Year 1. And then once we move up to Year 2, part of the units are mandatory and part are optional. And with year 2, we have 2 exams. We have another 20-hour synoptic. Again, it's writing an assignment under exam conditions. And then we have an anatomy and physiology exam, very similar to some exams that you may have sat in school. So short answer exams. And then the placement is 100 hours in year 2. And then usually, you know, when you're studying in year 1, we really encourage you to attend open days at universities, because like Billy said earlier, it may be that you've never even thought about that as an option, but we welcome you to go and explore other avenues. And then usually when you're in the year 2, you know, hopefully you've got that end goal in sight, whether it is to move on to university or further study in a different capacity or employment. You know, lots of employers welcome this course, so it is ultimately for employability or further study. So yes, it's really exciting. You know, we have so many positive feedbacks from the students, and they just grow. They literally grow through all the levels. Like Billy said, you know, they come from level 2, they progress. A lot of them progress through the levels, and you know, it's great. So that's basically it, I would say, for level 3.
Thank you. I mean, talking about progression, Carol, would you mind talking to us about the apprenticeship and the other higher education options that we have for health and social care?
Yeah, definitely. So at the moment we offer apprenticeships at level 2, level 3, level 4 and level 5. So a great progression right the way through the health and social care fields. With an apprenticeship, you would need to be working within a suitable setting. So it could be a care home, could be on a hospital ward, it could be you know, in a variety of different settings, and you would need to be employed for a minimum of 30 hours a week, and you would be assigned a training officer who would help you along your teaching journey. So whereas Jenny and Billy have just talked about our study programs, where you would be in college 3 days a week and then do your placement the other 2 days or 1 day a week, with an apprenticeship, you are based out in your working employment, and your assessor will come to you to do those observations of practice and to work through your standard with you, which is all of the course criteria. An apprenticeship standard has got 3 different elements: behaviour, skills, and the other one has totally just got out of my head. Knowledge, there we go, thanks Jen. So they therefore your training officer will help you through that. We are looking at on an apprenticeship you would do 1 day in college. Now that could be during the day or it may be during a twilight session, some of which could be remote, for you to ascertain that teaching and that knowledge element. So there would be more out in the place in your work placement, but the rest of it would be 1 day a week or a couple of evenings a week doing those remote sessions, or in college doing your knowledge out. It is assessed very differently, as Jenny and Billy both mentioned. In the study programme courses, our full-time courses at college, it very much is an assignment and your work placement and those external exams that you would sit, whereas with an apprenticeship, you build your knowledge, your skills and everything up in a portfolio, and then you would go through what we class as an EPA gateway, so an endpoint assessment. And therefore your final grade and your achievement comes from that endpoint assessment and gateway. Each of our different apprenticeship standards have different endpoint gateways. You would need your maths and English at that point at level 2 if you're on a level 3 standard, and you would also need to obtain your professional discussions, and there may even be a multiple choice exam as well as an observation of practice. As I say, each EPA for different courses and different levels have got different requirements. So again, we will talk you through that on that application.
So if someone wants to go to university, can they do an apprenticeship, or is it better to do the full-time course?
Both, either option, either option. With the study programme courses. At level 3, UCAS points are attached to each unit, and you build your UCAS points. So where Jenny was given detail about the assignments, each assignment is graded between a D grade, which is the pass, and an A star, and the UCAS points are divvied up within that. So we push our students right from day one. Even if they feel that they may not want to go to university, we push them for trying those higher grades, because, as I say, where you start with us in year 1 and where you end with us in year 2 may be 2 different things. So we push all students to be applying for those B grades, because overall, with all of your internal assignments, all with different grades, and then with the external parts, which Jenny articulated, that will all form then your final grade. And to be honest, in health and social care, if you are looking to go into higher education, social work, forensic, nursing, most of our local universities would require at least a B grade. So you have to start from day 1 to work your way up to those grades. And as Jenny says, we encourage you, even now, maybe 3 years away, or even 2 years away, we encourage you now to start looking at university, especially if you want to go into that nursing career, that midwifery. And midwifery, really, you would be looking for an A star, because midwifery is extremely hard to get into, and the demand is huge. So even though you're still at school potentially at the moment, start thinking about where you want to be in 5-10 years time, and then allow us to work backwards with you, and then we can help you to progress and get to that goal. As Billy and Jenny both said, we have students that start with us at interview process that don't really know what part of the field they want to go in, so they use their level 2 and the first part of their level 3 to experience different placements and settings, and then you know, their written work, they push hard to get those higher grades, and then we wave goodbye to them as they go into HE. Some of our students do swap between study programs and then go into apprenticeships. So we've had quite a few students that started with us at level 2, done level 2 and level 3 with study programs, then gained employment and come back to us then for their level 4 and level 5. And Jenny is smiling away because she's had a student right from that first go, right the way through to level 5, and she now is a local care manager. So, you know, it just goes to show the route and the opportunities that we have within the SMB group. So those dialogues with us early will help you to set out your career plans, and my team are fantastic at helping you get to them.
Brilliant, thank you. So we had a couple of questions. So I'm going to start off with Billy. It says, what grades do I need for the different levels? So if you don't mind just covering that, and then I'll move on to Jenny for the level 3.
Right. So it's a good question. I'm just going to link this to a few examples. A lot of the time, students would have interviews with myself, Jenny, and tutors within health and social care, and they're not necessarily sure what grades they need for certain courses. So we make you aware, and it is available on the website. But just to give you a heads up, for the level 2 course, you would need 4 GCSEs at level 3, including your maths and your English. And for level 3, Jenny will go over this, but it would be 4 level 4s, including your maths and English as well. The thing is, a lot of the time students would have an interview for a level 2 or a level 3, and they think, right, I'm going to be on the level 2 course, and that's it. However, they might get better than expected in their GCSEs. So when there's an enrolment week, which we have during sort of August time, but it varies from year to year, we could then look at your grades, look at what you've achieved, and then put you on the level 2 or the level 3 accordingly. So a lot of the time, even at interview stage, students are unsure. So if you have a chat with us, we can make you aware, based on your predicted grades and sort of what your goals are, what will be the most suitable course for you. So it's not necessarily set until you are given your grades at GCSE.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Thank you, Billy. Jenny, did you have anything to add?
You've really covered it, to be quite frank. I think The only thing I would like to add from a level 3 perspective is some students will come forward to us and say, you know, I really want to be a midwife, I really want to be a nurse. And at that point in the interview process, like Billy says, we're able to support the students to look at, you know, their end goal, their end destination. Now, there is an entry criteria to get up to level 3, like Billy said, the GCSEs. What I will say is sometimes, you know, if we're looking at degree study in the future, if you look at the entry criteria at some of the universities, it might state, for instance, maths, English and science. Now, just because somebody may not have passed science wouldn't mean we wouldn't accept them into college. It just would mean that we would advise them, this is what you need to do in your learning journey. However, you know, once you're finished with us, you would then need to do science, and we can signpost them onto, you know, that course and just help them plan for the future. So as I said earlier, I would just highly recommend that people do look forward, do look at multiple options, because it might be somebody's always thought, I really want to be a nurse, really want to be a midwife. Well, actually, when they get into the course, they might then decide to go into psychology with criminology, and you know, just be open to other options. That's what I'm trying to say. And you know, with the GCSEs, sometimes they do want science and sometimes they don't. So it's just keeping your options open.
Yeah, I think if nothing else, this year has shown us how important health and social care is to this country and the whole world, really. So there's so many different options you can go down. So thank you. That's a really good point. And if people don't pass the maths and English, they can retake that alongside. Is it just the level 2, or can they do that with the level 3 as well?
Do you want? Right. Sorry, Alex. Yeah. So with the results you get for your maths and English, like I said, I'm always going back to interview stage and contacts we have with students. Say, for example, you're on the level 2 and you've got your English and not your maths, and you were maybe off by a few marks or so. What you will end up doing is, as well as a health and social care course, we could look at doing a maths or an English course alongside that, just to ensure, for example, we have students that are on the level 2, they may not have got either the maths or the English, so they're doing that alongside the level 2. So the main aim is, after the academic year, they've achieved the maths or the English, and then they have the gateway open to whether they want to move on to the level 3, or if they want to gain jobs, because a lot of jobs are also asking for level 2 in maths and English, which is highly important. And we do emphasise the importance of gaining your maths and English whilst you are with the SMB group.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm on mute. Thank you. I'll pass this one back to Jenny. Somebody's asked, do I need to spend a lot of money to do the course? I think they are asking what the costs are for kit and things like that.
Okay. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. So when you come on to, regardless whether it's level 2 or level 3, the only cost I can think of is basically the work placement uniform. So we've currently got a really smart t-shirt which is clearly identifies you as a student, which is really important from a safeguarding point of view as well, because sometimes when you go into placement, some students, you can, you know, not think they're students and maybe think they work there. So I think it's really important that we have the correct logos that identifies you as a student. I do believe there's also like a zip up jacket to wear over as well, you know, on the colder days. Now that is something you would need to have for placement. The other thing what's optional is a textbook. There is a textbook that goes alongside the cash. Our rewarding body is cash. It's not BTEC, it's cash. And that textbook currently is advertised for level 3, and it carries you through year 1 and part of year 2. However, I would always recommend that book is also useful for level 2, because most of the subjects in there are also running along with the year 2. And although it is a higher level, the content is relevant. And we always advise students to use a range of sources when carrying out secondary research. So a textbook would be great. You don't have to buy it. As I say, it's an option, and we can signpost you on where to source that book. Other than that, you know, pencil case, a notebook, you know, that's up to you. But it is important to take notes in class. Carol, is there anything?
Yeah, can I just come in as well? Another part, obviously Billy and Jenny have mentioned in detail the placement requirements, and for all of our students to fulfil that placement in requirements, we would need to complete a disclosure form, so a DBS with all of our students, and that is to allow you to work in the vulnerable sector. So it is an enhanced disclosure. We will talk you through that and tell you what identification you need to bring in to obtain that certificate, and there may be a charge for that. Now, the charge for that so far is £48.95, if I'm going to be really precise. So it is something also to bear in mind. Anybody that is entitled to claim through the bursary fund, we have a student service provider and team that can help students with the bursary, help you pay for central IT facilities at home, so laptops and IT facilities for their placement uniforms, for that DBS. So anybody that may feel that the textbook, obviously, anybody that feels that may fall into that category for some bursary help, and again, an interview, we can give you the details for that as well. As we go further through the next few weeks, the kits list will become available to everybody. So again, part of once we've interviewed you and offered you a place, then we will be keeping you warm and we'll be contacting you regular with all of these updates as well. There's also some useful reading material and some prep work that you can be doing while you're twiddling your thumbs in the summer holidays. We can be providing all of that for you as well to really make sure that you've got the best possible start. So a little bit of reading. Again, you'll have had a nice holiday and summer break. Hopefully the sun will shine. So there's some extra material that you can do if you have the time over the summer, which the team will send out, keeping you warm, alongside the kit list and some more instructions.
That's actually leads us quite nicely on to another question we've had. Somebody's asked, I live in Leicester, would I need to do a placement in Melton, or can I do one near my home?
So we will. We prefer our students to do their placements as close to home as possible. You know, over the next few days, the weather is going to be horrendous and raining. So if you live in Leicester, there are lots of providers in Leicester, and we would prefer you to do your placement over in Leicester because it's more comfortable for you. So you'd be in college 3 days a week over at Melton, but then try and get you places close to home as whatever is possible. Sometimes that isn't always possible with the placements, and it may be that you want a very specialised placement, and therefore we can place you in Melton, or you know, in a neighbouring village or town. So we work alongside. Ideally, we'd like to place you close to home, so you don't have to get up at the crack of dawn on a Thursday and Friday morning in the snow, in the rain, to start work. Another thing that's really important is, again, around arrangements. Don't be surprised if you do an early shift placement.
Yes.
You know, many care homes and things like that, they start early shifts at 7 o'clock, as do nurses and, you know, some of our healthcare professions. And at the same time, we don't always finish a traditional 5 o'clock at night, and we do a late shift. So again, the idea of your work experience is for you to really absorb what it's going to be like once you've qualified and left us in that working environment. So obviously buses and arrangements and, you know, things all taking place. But if don't be surprised if you are asked in your placement to do an early or a late shift, because again, that's great experience for you, because those wards and care homes look very different in the morning than they do at night. So it's a great experience for you to actually embrace the whole of your career and the opportunities that are given to you by your placement.
Thank you so much. We're out of time now, actually, but I'll just quickly cover how people can apply if they want to. There's buttons all over the virtual open day pages for you to apply, or there's also a link on our homepage as well. Once you've filled out an application, you'll be invited for an interview, which we have touched on today. It's an opportunity for you to ask us questions and for us to just make sure you're on the right course at the right level. And then hopefully you'll be given an offer, which will be sent to you via email And then, as Carol mentioned, we have some student welcome days, which are in the summer. They tend to be end of June, beginning of July. And hopefully we'll be able to do some taster sessions and actually get you into college, because I know a lot of people haven't actually stepped foot on campus yet this year. And then it's enrolment around August, September time. So that's just a very quick overview of how it works. But if you do have any questions about the application, I've popped the course inquiries email address in the chat box, so you can just send that over and I'll be answering those questions this evening. So thank you everyone for listening, and thank you Billy, Jenny and Carol for answering all the questions. That's brilliant. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.